we should start at the beginning, right? The quintessential author question. What's your book about?
So, Colorworld is about a college student named Wendy. She has the ability to sense emotions when she touches people, so she's an empath. Um, and she ends up going to this allergy study just to get some extra cash. And when she comes out of it, she touches someone and they die. So it seems that her ability has evolved from empath to death touch, and she is not sure how that happened. So the people that ran the allergy study, did they know this would happen? Did they mean for it to happen, or was it a mistake?
Nice. So, have you ever heard of the healing system Reiki?
Yes, I have.
When I read the book, I had the thought, this is like weaponized Reiki, right? If you could not just affect someone's energy, but actually, like rip it from them. So yes, that's how I've been thinking of it is, death Reiki, uh, or
Yeah,
weaponized empathy.
that's accurate. In fact, in college, I had a professor of religion who was super into Reiki and did a demonstration in class and everything. And I thought, well, that's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. But I remembered it for years. And so when I was trying to come up with like the magic system, if you will, I really leaned heavily into therapeutic touch and Reiki and all of those energy based practices.
I was gonna ask about that because, like I said, I noticed a lot of these themes, right? In fact, some of the things she was going through almost seemed symbolic of like mental health issues, uh, and I guess that would be my first question: would be, are these are these things symbolic of things that you have gone through or people close to you?
Yes and no. So, kind of something interesting that I find about my book series is I subconsciously write about things about myself and don't realize it until after the fact. So the whole empath thing, I wrote about it and uh, I had picked it seemingly to me at random. But then after I wrote it, I began to like look back on my childhood and my teenagerhood and be like, so that's what was wrong with me. I was just picking up on other people. Like, like I had these really high amounts of anxiety in high school, and I just had such a hard time being in large groups. Like I literally would dread it when my best friend would be like, "We're gonna go to this party." I'm like, "Oh, great," and and that I just don't like people touching me. And I found that I literally can feel like energy leaving me when people are touching me. And so um, I became more attuned to that after I wrote the book, after I did all the research and wrote the book, and began to realize that a lot of it was like myself, but I didn't realize it. So it's kind of like writing the book helped me discover that about myself.
Did it help? Because one of the major themes in your book is Wendy at least trying to learn some level of control, right? Where she doesn't go full rogue and just kill everyone she touches by default. Uh, what was this something where writing this book was a kind of therapy for you?
Oh yeah, like um, one of the big, I guess, aha moments for her in book one is this idea of marriage and like what's the point of marriage. And I really had that sort of question also. I'd been already married for a number of years, but it's sort of like that's what you do in society is you get married, um, without really analyzing deeply the reasons why. And because growing up, I hadn't intended to get married at all, and it wasn't really until I met my husband that I was like, I'm taking you for real. And so, a lot of the questions that are answered in the books are things that I ask myself. So yeah, I guess the answer is for sure. Like for me, that's what's so awesome. That's what I love about writing is that it is a self-discovery for me. If it was simply about a story, I don't know that I would enjoy it very much. One of my more recent books that I wrote in the series was it's a different character's point of view, and I do not relate to her at all. And it was so hard to write. And I remember when I published it, I was just terrified that everybody's going to hate it. And it took me so long just to finish it and be like, and at the end, I was just like, I don't know if I'm ever going to like this. I'm just going to put it out there. And because I need to get this book out this year, because I said I would. And I did. And then people liked it. I was like, I didn't like it at all because I didn't learn anything while I was writing it. I just wrote it because I had, I had actually based it on somebody in my family. And I didn't get it. And I didn't enjoy the process, like, very much at all. But the books that I enjoy the most are the ones that I relate to, the ones that I can dig into and help discover things about myself.
Awesome. Let me ask, I guess we didn't quite get to that point. So we talked about what this book is about, Colorworld. How many books are in that series?
There are 8 right now. There's
8
trying
books?
to be 9. There's like desperately trying to be 9.
9 is just clawing its way out of your mind.
Like, it's not that it's not hard like the previous books. It's just simply lack of time. And like life kind of exploding and things happening in my personal life that have just prevented me from sitting down and having time to actually write. But yes, there are going to be 9 this year. It will be this year, and I'm saying that on camera. It's gonna happen.
You're committed now. You've drawn the line.
Committed.
All of these people are going to judge you if you don't get that done.
They should totally judge me, because you know what? I judge George R. R. Martin strongly. So if I judge him, then people should definitely judge me.
I think I've never been more offended at an author than when Robert Jordan died. I thought that he had done that to spite me personally when he died and left his Wheel of Time series unfinished. I only went back and finished it recently because I didn't want to deal with it, even with Brandon Sanderson doing the end. Because I had so much bitterness wrapped up in that. I hope I don't do that to my readers.
There is one book that people tell me about something that happened repeatedly. Like, I feel like it's one of the most mentioned scenes in all of my book series. And they're just like, I couldn't believe that you did. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just had to. And even after all this, I had to. I know that I had to. So.
Would it be spoilers to ask you what that scene was?
Sure. I mean, there is a really important person to Wendy, the main character, and he dies very tragically, and not just dies tragically, but dies without any, she didn't see it coming, no closure, no goodbyes, no nothing. And so it's very harsh. It's a harsh death. So it's not just that he died, it's like he died in it's like you're just kind of like, what? So
did he at least die for a reason? Did he die with purpose?
Sure.
Oh, good.
Sure. Oh, yes. And the more you read, the more you realize it was almost orchestrated by him himself, and that he knew, and that he was really in the works all along. So
that comforts me a little bit. I gotta say, I don't like the authors who kill just for shock value. Mm-hmm. That's probably one of the main problems I have with George R. R. Martin is just the killing for the sake of killing. Like, no, like, have them die for something. So, okay. I'm okay with that much death. Death is the part of life. It's a whole cyclical thing.
Correct.
So, now back in college, you thought that whole Reiki thing was all mumbo jumbo. Are you more into energy stuff right now?
So I have not personally participated in energy therapy, professional energy therapy. But I will say this, that certain people I've begun to recognize are energy givers and some are energy takers. So my youngest daughter, for example, she could just be like, she's like, oh, Mom, can I do your makeup? Right. And I'm like, sure. Yeah, you can do my makeup. Like, she won't have even touched me yet. And I can like literally feel like her energy. It's almost like relaxing. I don't know if you've ever had like a professional massage or like acupuncture. It's super relaxing. You almost want to fall asleep. She has that effect where like, I just am instantly relaxed even if I know she's going to be in my vicinity. And then I've had that experience with a few other people that are just like they give energy. And so when their energy enters yours, you're like almost pulling from them. And then, the other interesting thing about my daughter is that when she went into kindergarten, she would come home and sleep for like 4 hours after kindergarten because she was just, everybody had been pulling at her all day and she hadn't learned to like build up a tolerance. So I noticed, things like that. So yeah, I'm very much a believer in at least the idea of spiritual energy, and that negative emotions are pull at you, and then like positive emotions are giving emotions of giving energy. I don't know. I don't actually participate in anything regularly on a regular basis. Just, I don't know. Like I believe in it, but I don't stake my like health on it or anything like that. Like there's so many other. There's a validity to just about everything if you look for it. So yeah, I guess if that answers your question. I'm not really like a quack science like nut. I have essential oils in my house, but I don't like do them religiously or anything. I just, if I need a little extra, if it crosses my mind. So yeah, I don't know.
Nice.
Does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, no, and I get it entirely. I myself am an amateur acupuncturist, which is just as horrifying as it sounds. Just picture acupuncture, but without any training, right? But
Who's your guinea pig?
well, it started out with me.
You put it on yourself?
Yes, men should not be left alone. This is a thing, especially not men like me who are very curious. And so, yes, I found some acupuncture needles, and I read a book about it, and I started just trying it out.
How's it work?
It is actually remarkably effective for what it's good at. Sorry if we've kind of gone off on a tangent here, but yeah, I found that acupuncture is remarkably good for muscle tension and for pain. In fact, you might not know this about me, but I have a really bad back. Like most of the time I'm in pain just because of my back. And it's to the point where, yeah, there's almost no level of chiropractic or massage that'll actually touch that core, but acupuncture will. So my wife stabs me. We don't.
So
even...
is that what initially drove you to try it in the first place then?
Nope. It was a purely hobby curiosity. Just grab needles and stab them in my leg to see what would happen.
Okay.
For those listening at home, I do not recommend that.
I mean, okay, self-mutilation, acupuncture, whatever.
Anyways, but yes, it's also the only thing that'll touch my dad's shoulder pain. And so yeah, things like that. Pain type things I've found acupuncture is really, really good at. I've heard stories about like it curing allergies and things like that. I have not seen that personally. So I'm still a little bit skeptical, but as far as like the pain stuff, I have seen too much to doubt. Anyways, so yeah, that was one of the things that came up as I was reading about Wendy and her weaponized empathy. And yeah, it makes perfect sense. Now I'm hearing about you and your daughter, being in crowds and feeling drained by it. Makes me thankful that I myself was never invited to any parties. So, I didn't have to go through that.